fulfilling it.
$1 billion, Madam Speaker. That's the true cost to Canadian families from the Liberal NDP carbon tax that the Environment Minister tried so desperately to cover up. $1,800 cost to every household. It's no wonder the Environment Minister did his best to gag the Parliamentary Budget Officer and cover up the true cost of the carbon tax. Instead of sending a memo to the PBO demanding his silence, why doesn't the Environment Minister instead send a memo to the PMO with his resignation?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Sure, Madam Speaker, that the Conservatives do not care about the future of our planet. They will not stand up for our children and our grandchildren. On this side of the House, we're advancing tax fairness for Canadians with our new capital gains regime. That means that if you're earning your paycheck or your hard-earned income on a paycheck, you won't pay a penny more. Unless you're earning over $250,000 a year from the sale of an asset or other, you're going to pay more. You won't pay more. And Conservatives believe if you're flipping burgers, you should pay more tax than if you're flipping stocks or homes.
Honourable Member for Edmonton West.
The Liberal response to questions on more taxes is talking points adding more taxes. The Minister of the Environment interfered with the work of the independent Parliamentary Budget Officer. He stood repeatedly in this House and misled Canadians that they would be better off financially with the carbon tax, all the while covering up the fact that the Liberal NDP carbon tax will cost Canadians more than $30 billion a year. Instead of working to increase the economic vandalism of the carbon tax, why doesn't the Environment Minister just do Canadians a favour and resign?
The Honourable Minister of Innovation.
Madam Speaker, what Canadians are seeing this morning, those who are here and at home, Conservatives just don't care, Madam Speaker. That's the bottom of all the questions we've heard this morning. Canadians understand that what we did in the last budget was about generational fairness, Madam Speaker. That is the core issue that Canadians want us to address. That's why, Madam Speaker, we made change to the capital gain taxes, Madam Speaker, because we want to invest in the next generation. We want to invest in workers. We want to invest in seniors. We want to invest in our future. But here you go again. The Conservative voted against tax fairness, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Calgary-Shepherd.
The NDP Liberal government misled Canadians by claiming they'd be better off with the carbon tax scam. Turns out that the Environment Minister's own carbon tax data shows that it will cost families nearly $2,000 more after the higher costs on groceries, home heating, and gas. That's $30 billion in economic vandalism per year. Now, Conservatives have forced the release of all the carbon tax cover-up documents. So, will the radical Environment Minister finally climb down from his tower and resign?
The Honourable Minister of Labour.
Let me repeat the numbers because the numbers bear repeating. $1,800 a year for a family of four in Alberta, $1,200 a year in Manitoba, $1,120 in Ontario, $1,504 in Saskatchewan, $760 a year in New Brunswick, $824 a year in Nova Scotia, $880 a year in PEI, and $1,192 for a family of four in Newfoundland and Labrador. That is cold, hard cash, and they would know that if they bothered to check their own bank accounts. Thank you very much, Madam.
The Honourable Member for Chatham-Kent-Leamington.
How many times have the Liberals falsely stated, even today, that 8 out of 10 Canadians get more back than they pay? I guess they figure if they say something often enough, people will start to believe it. But Canadians know because their pocketbooks tell them so. Conservatives have forced the end of the carbon tax cover-up, and now the Public Budget Watchdog's report confirms that Canadian families pay more than nearly $2,000 more in carbon tax per year. And they also knew that it cost our economy $30 billion per year in economic activity lost. When will this Environment Minister resign for his...
The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House.
You know, Madam Speaker, Chatham-Kent-Leamington, a lot of great farmers in Chatham-Kent-Leamington. It's shameful that the Leader of the Conservatives, who's never seen the top of a combine or a hay baler, he hides behind farmers and workers to justify his opposition to our plan on tax fairness. We are increasing the capital gains sheltering for...
I'm going to interrupt the Honourable Leader of the Government. We have order, or the Honourable... or there will be questions taken away. Order! The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House.
So it's shameful, Mr. Speaker. The leader of the Madam Speaker, the leader of the Conservatives has never been seen on a hay baler. He's opposing our program to give tax fairness to farmers. We are increasing the capital gains sheltering for farmers by boosting the lifetime exception for qualified farming properties to $1.25 million per owner. That member over there should be standing up and celebrating tax fairness for farmers, Madam Speaker.